Am I here? I don't even know. Hello, hello. I had forgotten to take my little cover to lift it up. So just black screen at first. Um, I don't know if anybody, I know it says somebody's here, maybe. Okay. Oh, hey, Carol. Okay, so today is going to be a little bit different because I don't know how long I can sit here. Hey, Donna. Um, I have messed my back up again, so I don't know how long I can sit in this chair. I'm going to try, but we'll see. Um, yeah, I mean, as y'all know, blackberry cobbler. I'm coming to your house. Be a long trip for blackberry cobbler, but but yeah, I've had back problems, spine problems for years, and already had cervical spine surgery, trying to avoid anything at all with the lumbar, but every once in a while I tweak it, and this time I tweaked it a little too much. I don't even know what I did. One time I messed it up by getting out of the shower. This time I don't know, but it's okay. My doctor did give me some just in case medicines, some muscle relaxers and pain medicine for just in case, and have not had to take it in a very long time, but I had to just in case this week. But anyway, I did take my medicine, so maybe I'll be able to sit here the whole time. I only studied the chapter 1 of 1 Samuel, and the reason why I only studied that is because I figured I probably wouldn't be able to sit here for a long time. And I didn't turn off that light, and there's like a weird glowy thing going on. Maybe y'all can see me all right. But last week was kind of rough, so I didn't do the study. I didn't study myself enough that I felt like I could do this, because I had Judy's kids part of the time. I even had Julie Marie. It was because and David, they had not planned on getting pregnant again right now, but preventatives didn't work. So she got pregnant again, but she lost the baby. So that was Friday, was a week ago. So anyway, I had her babies, so I didn't study because they're more important at that point in time. I didn't prepare for this. Oh, I'm buffering? What? Stop buffering. And also Jeff's dad, we had news about him. He had surgery. Is it still buffering, Donna? Is it buffering for everybody? I don't know. But Jeff's dad had surgery a long time back to do some repairs to his knee and stuff, and something happened. I don't know exactly what, but he has no circulation in one of his legs from his knee down, and his cardiologist said they can do the surgery, but he only has a 46% chance of nothing bad happening. So more than 50% chance that something bad will happen. So that was kind of tough. And we went to see him a couple times. They don't live where we live, but it's only like an hour away. But his surgery is the 18th, I want to say. Yes, it's on a couple Mondays from now. Anyway, he has to have surgery because it's either fix where the circulation is not working, where it's not circulating, or he could lose his leg or part of his leg. So either way, he's got to have surgery. So no matter what, it's still a 46% chance that nothing bad will happen. And the longer he waits, the worse his heart will get. So y'all be praying for him. Be praying for Judy and David. They're physically she's okay, but you may not know, but um anyone who has ever lost a baby, who has had a miscarriage, ectopic pregnancy, something like that, they know how it feels. And what's crazy about this situation is I know how she feels because I've gone through it 6 times, but I don't know how to help her. It's that kind of situation. And I actually told her I know how she feels, but I don't know how to make it better. Because I can't. Only God can. So y'all keep all of that in your prayers. Donna, she's still moving. I can't, let's see, Stacy Roten, her channel is Fat Man and Big Mama. She's from here too. She's actually from Montgomery, where I live. We don't live far from each other at all, but she has a channel. Her whole family, her whole family that lives in her house, her husband, and not their youngest daughter, but one of their daughters, they all have COVID. So, keep them in your prayers. Let's see. I don't know of anybody else right now, right off the top of my head. I can't think of anyone else. But anyway, lots going on, lots of prayers needed. But God can take care of all of it. He can comfort through the hard stuff. He can help through the health things. And he can help Donna with her frustrations of moving. But I'm telling you, it will be wonderful once it's all done. So let's go over what we talked about, not last week, but the week before. We talked about chapters 3 and 4 in Ruth, and we talked about how that Boaz helped Ruth and how that they ended up getting married, and what the date meant, and also actually brought out the fact that verses 8 in chapter 4, that was 10 generations. And a few weeks ago, what day did we do it? Okay, it was on actually it was in May. Yeah, May. I got to count the months because y'all, my brain is not functioning with the pain. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to try not to talk about that though. But we talked about how that let's see, let me just look at my notes. If an Ephrathite married a Moabite, then for 10 years they could not go into the house of the Lord. Let's see. The congregation of the Lord. Let's see. It is purchased, but the accessible things are not installed yet. And getting a contractor to actually show up is hard to do the job right. Fire 2 people. Oh, boy. Yeah, people don't want to work nowadays. They just don't. They want to get paid to do nothing. In fact, y'all pray for Noah. Because there's this guy who works at his job. I don't know how long he's been there. Not a long time. He's supposed to be doing the same thing my son is doing. But they will catch him laying down in the bathroom floor on his phone. Or they'll catch him out back somewhere. And he will just leave before his shift is over. He's just not doing his job. And then it's left all on Noah and all of the other co-workers that end up having to work with him. And one of the girls that works there, she's a tiny little thing. She's a tiny, tiny thing. One of Noah's friends. He'll leave all the work to her. And she'll do it. I mean, she's tough. She'll do it. But this grown man, he's in his 20s, in his mid to late 20s, he'll leave all the work to her, and he's getting paid for doing nothing. And they don't reprimand him, they don't fire him. They won't fire him. They won't fire him. What just happened? Oh, I touched my mouse because I was trying to get my water. Oh boy. But yeah, they won't fire him. They won't reprimand him. They won't write him up. They won't do nothing. It's horrible. They won't do anything at all. And I told Noah, I said, from now on, whenever he's there, if he's working with you, like, if they have the same shift, let me just say that. Then if he doesn't do his job, just complain. Just complain until somebody does something. I mean, don't sit there and whine, which Noah's not a complainer at all. He'll just go do his job, plus somebody else's. I mean, Noah is the type of young man who he will help you even if you don't deserve it. And it's good and bad at the same time. But he will help anybody. I mean, there's people like the girl I was talking about. Whenever she first started working there, she was having problems with her car. Her air conditioner wasn't working. Noah came home, talked to his daddy. They went and looked at it, figured out what was wrong with it, and he went and fixed it for her. Didn't charge her anything. Paid for the stuff that he had to fix it with and everything. Just because he was being a good friend. She's a good friend too. And they've been friends for over a year. I know that. But yeah, Noah is just the type of person. He loves everybody and he helps people. And there have been times he's been taken advantage of, but he's getting a little bit tougher and seeing the signs when people take advantage now. But anyway, y'all just pray for him for things to get better there, because he's been working there. November will be 4 years that he's worked there, and the last year and a half, 2 years, it's been rough. It's been real rough, but he's hanging on. All right, so let's get to the study. Let's talk about Samuel, which we're not actually talking about him actually at first. But what I want to do is just read, and I've got notes. I don't have a lot of notes. I mean, y'all know I always do my notes, but I just wrote down some things I thought might help me to remember to tell you guys that I wanted to tell you. And like I said, it's not much. It's only the first chapter, but there's a lot there, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's get started. Verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim, Zophim, of the mountains of Ephraim. Y'all know that some of these words I might butcher, not on purpose, I promise. And his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephraimite. And he had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And I was looking it up, and there is polygamy in biblical times, which there's different types of polygamy. There's polygyny, meaning married more than one wife, and then there's just polygamy. There's different things. I went down a rabbit trail, things that don't really matter. But anyway, a lot of times, whenever in biblical times, and I cannot say this is the case with this family, if the first wife was barren, the man would marry again, because just like we talked about in Ruth, having a child, having a son was extremely important to families, to carry on the family name, to carry on the taking care of the property and the things like that, and to take care of the mother if the father passed away, or to take care of the parents in the old age. It was extremely important to have children. I wish it was still important to people today. I'm not going to go any further with that. That's just my wish. I wish people cared as much. And I don't feel like these people wanted to have children just to take care of them. I think there was a lot more than that. People wanted children because they wanted children, because it did carry on the family lineage, and that was important. And you hear a lot of times people will say, like for instance, my sister and her husband, they only have 2 girls, and they had 2 girls, and then my sister ended up having precancerous cells and endometriosis and different things like that. So she had to have a partial hysterectomy. So that meant they couldn't have any more children. So people will say, "Oh, well, you have nobody to carry on your family name because they had no boys." I still feel like those girls can carry it on, not the actual last name, but they carry the lineage on. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I don't know how I got off on that. It just came to my mind, and I just did. I had a list for you, the names of the meanings of the names, and I can't find it. I'm in her head. I'm blunt. Okay, I did write down the meanings. Elkanah means God has purchased. Hannah means gracious, merciful, one who gives. Favored by God. I thought, yes, some do. Some do. Um, okay, so the reason why that maybe Penina was why he married Penina might have been because Hannah was barren. We don't know that is the case, but we know that Penina had children and Hannah did not. This man went up from the city. Went up from his city yearly to worship and sacrifice to the Lord of hosts of Shiloh in Shiloh. Also, the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priest of the Lord, were there. And whenever the time came for Elkanah to make an offering, he would give portions to Penina, his wife, and to all her sons and daughters. Not important. But to Hannah, he would give a double portion, for he loved Hannah, although the Lord had closed her womb. I looked up what a double portion, I was trying to figure out what a double portion. The first time in the Bible that it mentions double portion, I thought I marked it. Oh, I looked it up, but I didn't mark it. Anyway, Deuteronomy 21:17 talks about a double portion. Let me find it. And it's about the firstborn inheritance rights. If a man has, I'm going to read 15 through 17. If a man has two wives, one loved and the other unloved, and they have borne him children, both the loved and the unloved, and if the firstborn is of her who is unloved, then it shall be on the day he bequeaths his possessions to his sons that he must not bestow firstborn status on the son of the loved wife in preference to the son of the unloved true firstborn. So in other words, probably like in other parts of the Bible we read about that one was loved and one was not, and how they had children and things like that. Well, anyway, the unloved was not supposed to be treated badly. That's what it says. Why am I buffering? My internet's supposed to be good. Maybe I need to do a speed test. All right. But verse 17, but he shall acknowledge the son of the unloved wife as the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he has, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. So it doesn't really say why he gave the double portion to Hannah. We don't know why that happened, but where was I at? Verse 5. Hannah would be, I'm going to look at the notes in my Bible. To Hannah, he would give a double portion. Deuteronomy 21:17 speaks of the double share being given to the firstborn son, even if he is the son of the unloved wife. Many commentators assume a similar meaning here, i.e., a double portion given to the beloved but barren wife. The Hebrew expression in the present context is, however, different from the expression in Deuteronomy 21:17, and its sense is much debated. Whatever the nature of this portion, it could not compensate for other factors such as the social stigma associated with barrenness and the need for offspring to assure social security of aging parents. So it doesn't say he didn't love Penina, but he loved Hannah. Maybe he felt sorry for her because she couldn't have children. Maybe he did love her more. Maybe she was the first wife. We really don't know. Verse 6, and her rival also provoked her severely and to make her miserable because the Lord had closed her womb. So to me, it's like Penina was picking on Hannah. That's what it sounds like. Why would she do that? I mean, they live in the same house. Why would this woman pick on this other woman, her sister wife, because her womb was closed? I mean, that to me is it's just hateful. It's terrible. And it makes me wonder why that Penina's name would mean pearl or precious stone, because she's not precious if she's doing that. Not to me. She's mean. She's hateful. Um, so it was year by year when she went up to the house of the Lord that she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. So when Hannah went to the house of the Lord, she fasted. Now it sounds to me like Hannah was depressed because she was crying, she was, weeping, and she was not eating. It sounds to me like she was depressed. I know that I have two children. I have two beautiful children who were very healthy when they were born, who are healthy now. I mean, yes, they have health problems, but still not the point. But I also know the pain of infertility. I know the pain of loss. Now, it doesn't ever say that Hannah got pregnant and lost a baby. It just says she was barren. So, in other words, she never had a baby. So, I can sympathize with her with the fact that having infertility it's hard. It's depressing. It hurts. And if someone else is saying things that shouldn't be said, it makes it that much worse. It just makes it so much worse when someone is hateful whenever you're already going through something that is tearing your heart apart. That's just, and to me, it's like, I want to cry for Hannah, which I know her story. So it doesn't make me feel as bad. It doesn't stay that way. We know that if we read the story. But I have such a tender heart for Hannah, for those Hannahs in this world that we all know they're out there. We all know that there are women who are longing for a child and they can't get pregnant. I had a friend who lost her baby at 4 months and was on the phone with someone and actually had to tell them, I have to bury my baby now. Oh, wow. That has got to be losing a child, whether while you're pregnant or after it's born. After it's born, I do feel like is a lot harder, a lot worse than having a miscarriage, in the sense of you had that hope for longer. You got to hold it. You got to nurse it, feed it, whatever. You got to love on it. It's just got to be terrible. The loss of a child in any sense is one of the worst things in this world. I mean, I can't fathom how your friend got through. I mean, what she felt. It's mind boggling. The feelings of it has to be. And to me, a child is the most precious gift we could ever be given. And for people to just act like they're not, like, for Peninas of this world to sit around and joke on other people and pick on them, it's horrible. According to my friend, another friend, losing after born is worse. She had both. Her son died of terminal illness at 23. Wow. It has to be. It has to be worse to lose someone who was already born. And I'm not trying to make, I mean, both of it's terrible. But after they're already born, it has to be harder. And that's why when Judy was going through everything with Julie Marie, and um I mean, Julie Marie is doing really well now. She's just a happy, laughing, beautiful baby. Oh, and she got her first tooth. Oh, it's right on the bottom. Um, Beautiful, happy baby who is, you know, doing so well now. But there was so many scary times during the after she was born, and from what I understand, on the way from one hospital to the other, whenever they were taking her to the children's hospital, they did lose her and they had to get her back. Um, David and Judy found out later because they were still at the other hospital. This is like she was a day old or 2 days old when this happened. But let's see, my sister had twins. One survived full time, 9 months, and the other one did not survive, and she lost it at 8 months. That was, oh wow. See, it's just got to be terrible to lose a child, to be infertile. I know infertility how it feels. I know how it feels to lose a child to miscarriage and ectopic pregnancy. And I pray that I never have to learn how it feels to lose a child. I mean, I made my children promise me, they didn't really, but I told them they could not die before me, that I had to go first. Or we had to all go at the same time. It just had to be Jesus comes back. That's what we want. But I don't want to feel that. And a lady, we'll see how to. I don't really know how to explain it because we were acquaintances with the parents, but Noah and Selena were friends with the son. They went to church with us. They lost their daughter. She had different things wrong with her, but they didn't know that they didn't expect it. They just went into her room one morning, and she was, I want to say, 3. I think she was 3 years old at the time. And seeing her as a mother, seeing another mother go through that, I couldn't help her. And it's like, gotta be so difficult. And for someone to sit around and like this, which she was barren, so it was a different situation, but to pick on her is terrible. But let me go ahead and go on to verse 8. Then Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Hannah, why do you weep? Why do you not eat? And why is your heart grieved? Am I not better to you than 10 sons? So I think part of him giving her the double portion was trying to let her know, I love you no matter what. Elkanah was the kind of husband you want, the one that loves you no matter what, and who's going to take care of you no matter what. He's the one who's there. He's that kind of husband you want to have. The one that no matter what, you're good, your marriage is great, and you love each other. That's the way it sounds. That's what I hope anyway it was. So Hannah arose after they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh. Now Eli the priest was sitting on the seat by the doorpost of the tabernacle of the Lord. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish. Then she made a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a male child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall come upon his head. So she asked specifically for a male child. And it happened, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli watched her mouth. Now Hannah spoke in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. This, I think, is the first mention of silent prayer. I've heard some people say, if your silent prayer isn't prayer, I'm sorry. It says so right here that her lips moved, but no voice came out. She was praying in her heart. She was praying to God. God knows what our prayers are. And I don't feel like we have to be talking out loud for him to hear it. But I've had people say, if you're not loud, or if you're not talking, like I am now, that it's not a prayer, but that's just a lie to me. Therefore Eli thought she was drunk. So Eli said to her, "How long will you be drunk? Put your wine away from you." But Hannah answered and said, "No, my lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Do not consider your maidservant a wicked woman, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief I have spoken until now." Then Eli answered and said, "Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition which you have asked him." So she prayed. She was sincere. Eli mistook it for something other than what it was, but whenever she poured her heart out to Eli, he blessed her. And he probably saw the pain. He knew that she was sincere. And she said, "Let your maidservant find favor in your sight." So the woman went away and ate, and her face was no longer sad. So nobody knows of this vow she has made to the Lord. She's only told Eli that she wasn't doing bad things. She was doing what she was supposed to be. She was praying to God. So verse 19 says, Then they rose early in the morning and worshipped before the Lord, and returned and came to their house at Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. So it came to pass in the process of time that Hannah conceived and bore a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, "Because I have asked for him from the Lord." So God answered her prayers. He gave her the son. Now the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer to the Lord the yearly sacrifice in his vow. But Hannah did not go up, for she said to her husband, "Not until the child is weaned, then I will take him, that he may appear before the Lord and remain there forever." Now, whenever I first read this, I was like, oh, when he's weaned, that means he's just going to be like a year or so old, because usually you stop bottle feeding a baby at a year. You stop breastfeeding at a year or two. Some cultures it's 5 or 6. It's just according. But weaning, the Hebrew of weaning, I wrote it down. The Hebrew meaning of weaned actually means to become a person, which means can think for themselves and make decisions, to be independent, to do things for themselves to a certain extent, because they're still children. But it doesn't mean they're off the bottle. It doesn't mean they're not breastfeeding anymore. Weaning means something completely different. High spirit in the sky. But weaning doesn't mean the same thing as what we think. And a lot of things don't. A lot of things that are in biblical times, the meanings are different. That's why you have to go study and find out. So she told her husband, "I'm not going back until he is weaned." And then she was going to leave him there. So Elkanah, her husband, said to her, "Do what seems best to you. Wait until you have weaned him. Only let the Lord establish his word." Then the woman stayed and nursed her son until she had weaned him. So he agreed with her. Her and her husband were in agreement, which is a great thing. To me, it seems like their marriage was a good one, and they did have agreement. So this is not just about a woman who is barren, who is being mistreated by someone. It is not just about God answering prayers. It's also about having a good marriage, and about how that a man and woman should treat each other in marriage. I feel like that there's a lot of things we can learn in just this first chapter. I mean, they're small things, but still. Now when she had weaned him, she took him up with her with 3 bulls, 1 ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord in Shiloh, and the child was young. Then they slaughtered the bull and brought the child to Eli. And she said, "O my Lord, as your soul lives, my Lord, I am the woman who stood by you here praying to the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition, which I asked him of him. Therefore I also have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he shall be lent to the Lord." So they worship the Lord there. So that's all of chapter 1. But she followed through with her vow. Now, I know that she could go see him every year at the sacrificial time. I know she could probably go see him whenever she wanted. But giving her baby that she had prayed for, that had to be one of the hardest things ever. But it probably also showed her, I feel like in my own mind, it probably showed her that God does answer prayers and he does take care of his people. And just the first chapter of this book is there's a lot there. It's very important, and there's a lot we can learn about how not to be, because we don't want to be like Peninnah. Even though her name means precious stone, she was not very precious. She was mean. We can learn about how to be faithful to the Lord and follow through with what we say. And we can also know that God is going to follow through and help us whenever we need help. And we can see how it is to be a decent husband, a decent spouse, period, wife or husband. How that we should talk to our spouse. And I mean, he talked to her, she talked to him, and there was communication. And everybody always says, well, communication is the key. I can be the first person to tell you, well, I'm not the first person, I'm sure, but I'm telling you, for first-hand knowledge, communication is the key, because Jeff and I used to not talk like we should. And our marriage was going off the rails. And once we learned how to talk to each other, once I learned how to not be scared to talk to him, and actually once I learned to just not care if he did or didn't like me, because that was one of the problems. I was afraid he would not like me if he actually heard my crazy thoughts, which is wrong. He still likes me, but it fixed things, you know. But whenever we're faithful to God, he's going to be faithful to us. And actually, he's faithful to us when we're not faithful, because I can look back at a lot of times in my life where that I was not living a faithful life, but he still was faithful to me. That has nothing to do with the story. I'm just saying. But, and Samuel means God has heard. I looked that up for Carol. For me too, because I wanted to know, but I just thought that, so we can know. I should have looked up Eli's name too, but I didn't. Maybe we'll do that later. But Hannah was a faithful woman who loved the Lord. And I've actually done a study on her before, and I need to do another one. I need to do it again. But she was a faithful woman who wanted something. Actually, we could go on to to chapter 2, but it's pretty, I've read it before. I've read a little bit of it recently, but I haven't studied, like I haven't taken notes or anything. But the whole story, the first chapter, it's very important, because even though Hannah was depressed and she was down and she was hurting, there was redemption, and God brought her out of it, and she followed through with her vows, and it turned into a wonderful thing. She got that son she asked for, and she showed that she was faithful to what her promises were and what her vow was. And she dedicated him to the Lord. And I'm trying to think, I think he's a Nazareth. No, is that right? What was it Samson was? Let me look it up. I'm going to grab my phone and do it real quick. Um, the ones that don't, yeah, he was a Nazarite. Yeah, yes, a Nazarite. Um, but that's kind of what it made me think about, was a Nazarite, because he didn't cut his hair. Sometimes God can bring you out of depression in the most unexpected ways. Exactly. And I feel like God has taken me out of a lot of things. There were times whenever I felt such powerful anxiety that I was pretty much just like stalled in the water. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I felt like I was drowning. I felt like I couldn't get out. And God brought me out of it. A lot of times in a very unexpected way, which I don't deal with that to the extent I used to. I sometimes still have a little bit of anxiety. I sometimes have social anxiety because I don't like to be around a bunch of people. I think that's just because I don't like to be around a bunch of people because it gets loud, and I don't like loud. Yeah, that's true, Donna. But God can take us out of stuff without us even knowing he's going to do it. But the key to it is to just keep studying the word, keep praying, and don't ever let anyone tell you that silent prayer, because I was told that years ago. I was told that silent prayer was no good because God couldn't hear you. And to me, that felt weird and it felt wrong. But this person was in authority and I was still a baby Christian. And, I thought that I had to actually talk to God. And it's a lie. It's just a big lie. I don't know why that anybody would even say that you have to actually words come out of your mouth, the noise happen. Because even in the Bible, in different places, Jesus says that, loud, you know, words and many words are not getting anywhere. It's just a show off. It's just to be something that is for show. Pretty much is all that is. But don't ever let anyone tell you that, because God knows everything going on in here. He knows it's not really your heart, not your actual heart, but he knows what's going on in your mind. He knows what's going on and you need, and he's not going to let you down. I've heard people say, why does God allow bad things happen to good people? In fact, I think there was a book about it. I may own the book, who knows? But to me, it's not God. I mean, yeah, God does allow things to happen for us to learn things, but he's not trying to hurt us. And sometimes we need, like, I wondered, why did God let me lose 6 babies? Why did that happen? I don't know the answer, but I've learned that I don't have to know the answer. That me knowing the answer is not going to bring those babies back. Me dwelling on it is not going to bring those babies back. And many other things. I question why my daddy died at such a young age. He was in his early 60s. He was a wonderful man. He didn't hurt anyone. He was a good person. He would help everyone he could. I've questioned it. I've questioned, why does Selena have a heart issue? She was just a kid. I mean, she's a baby whenever we first discovered it. Why? She didn't ever do anything, But you don't have to do anything wrong for bad things to happen. Sin is why the bad things happen. The problem started with Adam and Eve in the garden. when they decided that they were smarter than God, is my verbiage. May not be exactly what it's supposed to be, but whenever they decided to not obey the rules. And I'm not saying we have to obey every single rule, because some rules are just wrong. Um, but God's rules are all right. He made those rules to protect us, and we just have to see that. But I think that we're going to enjoy the book of First Samuel. I think that we're going to get a lot from it. There's a lot here that we can dig into in both the books of Samuel, but I feel like there's just so much in the Bible that I will never learn everything there, but I love learning with you guys. I love studying with y'all. I love having someone to go back and forth with and talk about things. And like sometimes Donna will send me an email. And if y'all ever want to send me an email, my email is on my About page. I want to say it's in the description box. If it's not, I need to put it in there. It's actually not. So I'll have to put it in there, and I'll put it on the thing so that it'll be in all my emails whenever I all my videos when I upload. I'll do that so I can fix it. It won't be in the previous ones, but it'll be in the new ones. But I guess I'm gonna go for now, and if you guys do have any questions, thoughts, just want to chat, prayer request, whatever, you can send on my email. Send me an email. You can talk to me on Instagram. Let's see. Do you do Bible studies once a week or month, or just sometimes? Every Tuesday at 2 Central is when I usually do it, a live Bible study. There's some times that I have to cancel, like last week I had to cancel because some things happened in my family. But if I ever have to cancel, I will put it on my community page, or I will tell you the week before if I already know. I don't cancel as often as I have them, though. I sometimes feel like that I've canceled a lot, but looking back, I haven't canceled as much as I think. But yeah, every Tuesday at 2 Central Time. So that's when I do it. Yeah, you're welcome to come back anytime. And I do keep them all on a playlist as well. I leave them all up, even though I don't edit them and I look like a goofball and I sound like one too. But I'm gonna go for now because I think I need to get up and move around. Oddly enough, with the back situation, moving around helps it. So I'm gonna get up and move around some, and probably go in the backyard and see what Jeff's doing for a minute. And I want to peek at my garden because I haven't looked at it since yesterday. I have some sad things going on in there, but I have a video going out tonight about it. But I will see you guys next time. I'm glad that you hung out with me today. I hope that you got something from this. I did. I feel like I was a little bit mixed up and confused. Well, not confused or mixed up, but like I was a little all over the place today. Now y'all can tell me whether I was or wasn't, but who knows. But anyway, I always feel like I'm a little bit confusing. But y'all hang out with me, so you must like it. I don't know. But I will see you guys next time. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.